Hey everybody, this is Perch. We got a just basic comic book mail. It says Wonder Woman comic idea. By the way, before I get into this, actually, on the topic of comic ideas, there's a good thread by Jim Zub over on X. It still doesn't feel natural to call it that. And he's talking about unsolicited pitches. And people were getting really hot and feisty with him. And I saw somebody do a reaction video of like getting getting really heated about Zub's advice. And Zub's advice, in my mind, was non-controversial. It was basically like, look, you shouldn't send unsolicited pitch ideas to companies or to especially to other creators, because basically just flat out it it creates a legal situation for them. That's one of the very strong words, strong rules, I should say, that is part of comics. He described this much better, so if you want to go look it up. But basically, if you give some, if you put out an idea and the company happens to be doing something remotely similar to your idea, and in a lot of cases, they don't even know that they're doing something similar to your idea. They've got lots of editors, lots of different people in the office, but you pitch an idea for Wolverine, and then it turns out the Daredevil editor and writer is doing something almost exactly the same, but they don't know it. You can still turn around and sue Marvel for stealing your idea, and if they accepted and commented on your idea, like if you sent it in and they said, "Oh yeah, it seems like pretty good. I'd give you some tips on it." They engage basically with your idea in any way, then they're admitting they've seen it, and then they're defending themselves in court that they didn't, use it without credit. It's a bad situation, or and it's unfortunate because I know a lot of creators would love to like swap story ideas and character ideas, and geek out on what could happen, like all of us do. But it's just it's not feasible when you're actually producing those comics. It can't happen. There have been ideas stolen, and that's why a lot of these rules exist. Anyway, that's not a problem here because I'm not working for DC or writing for DC, so totally fine. Anyway, mail goes King Perch the eighth, the beheader of assholes. Right? It's a bit hard to behead an asshole when you're one yourself. I'm talking about me now, not you, the letter writer. Anyway, let's get to what we've got here. It says just finished watching the Barbie movie for the first time, and it was fine. It would have been better if it was just a fun adventure without the politics thrown in. Made me think of a fun idea for a Wonder Woman comic. By the way, Barbie, the movie, I do agree. It's not that the politics, but the movie. The challenge is my younger daughter thought it was fun, but her criticism of the Barbie movie was actually dead on. And as a child, I think her comment was, there was a kind of a fun adventure of Barbie going into the real world. And, the real world's not like the Barbie world. And so there's differences. So Barbie has to come back and kind of rally the troops to kind of get things back under control or whatever. And she liked that aspect of it, but she didn't understand why, like why did we need to talk about kind of toxic masculinity, and it wasn't explicitly stated in the movie, and in general, it just kind of leaned into it a bit. There's a lot of YouTubers and other people said it was all about that, but basically, it was frustrating for her because in her mind, Barbies ruled Barbie world, meaning the women ruled Barbie world because Barbie is the center of that world. And her comment as 11-year-old was, in GI Joe world, the GI Joe characters own that world, and the He-Man characters own that world. So she wasn't seeing it as a feminist thing. She was seeing it as like the toy is Barbie, the world is Barbie world. So thus Barbie, it's not Kin world, it's Barbie world. The idea of Kin taking it over means the world's out of sync because it's Barbie world. Anyway, it's in her mind, it was like, this is a very straightforward answer. What does this have to do with women's rights or any of that? It just, and plus she's like, and she's also a toy. She's looks like a woman, but she's just a toy. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was, my point in all this was, it was fun. I think it was a fine movie. But in the cases where it attempted to take itself more seriously, it feels like that's where it's not a movie was drugged down. It's just that was the part that made it less. I don't want to watch it again. And my daughter, who likes Barbies, played with Barbies, kind of growing out of them now. she doesn't want to watch it again. Or when she does watch it, she'll watch the dance numbers and the fight with Ken, and then she's kind of like that. Then she's done because the rest makes it an irrelevant, story to her. Anyway, sorry. Oh, that maybe that was entertaining to somebody. Probably not most of you, but that's an answer. Anyway, back to the mail. It says she, meaning Wonder Woman, has never been to Themyscira and talks about how much better it is than the world of men from the stories she's heard. No war, no poverty, etc. They have an adventure. Then near the end of the comic, she finds the island only for it to be a wasteland. Turns out they killed each other long ago, and an ideal land run by women is no better than the one run by men. I know this for a fact, as I'm in a company run by women and a shit show. Sorry, that last sentence, guy. People believe, I think, that I yuck it up and all the rest, but I really don't read a lot of these mails. I'm reading them live on the air to you. I think they're more fun that way, kind of a reaction video. So sometimes several of you throw things in at the end that surprise me. That's why I'm laughing. Look, this isn't a man-woman thing. I think many of you, I'm sure listening to this right now, can point out companies run by men that are also shit shows. There turns out there are a lot of shit shows out there. But it kind of goes to your point. So, okay, for breaking down this Wonder Woman idea, I think it's a cool story, and I think it's a cool idea. It's an Elseworld story because, of course, she has been to Themyscira, and they've done so much with it and everything else. So it really couldn't be an in-canon Wonder Woman story because we've already seen that island, and they've come and gone and everything else. So you couldn't really do that. But it would be an interesting story in kind of an, like I said, the absolute universe. Of course, it wouldn't work there because they've already moved on from that too. But just, I like the idea of, and I think it'd be a pretty cool plot for Wonder Woman where she's like, I'm an ambassador sent to the world of men, to try and bring love and peace and all this. And, yes, the Amazons were a warrior tribe, but we learned our ways of harmony and all this kind of stuff. But she'd never been to the island, right? She was at a young age, and maybe, she grew up with these legends. And so she based her entire ideals. And I think to make the story good, you'd want to play it out for a long time. You'd want her to have, 50 issues, 100 issues of her, basically doing what she says, bringing peace to things, being an ambassador, helping stop villainy and kind of bringing those pieces together, and being an inspiration. Basically, she heard the myth of her homeland, and she lived it. She embraced it. She became it, and she was successful at it. And then one day, it's I don't know. You could do any number of things. Either there's a dire reason to find Themyscira, or a relic shows up that shows her the way. And so you should put some desperation into it. Like she's got to get, she's got to get to Themyscira for some reason. Maybe, you throw Steve Trevor into the mix, and Trevor and her were fighting a villain and came across a relic, and the relic poisoned Steve Trevor. And the antidote is on Themyscira, so it creates emergency. You got to get to the island. You got to finally, go back to her origin. And, she gets there and finds it's long since, dead. That the island has been extinct for, 100 years, because it was it was a battleground. That the Amazons, split themselves into factions, and they warred with each other, and the ideals that she grew up with. It's a disillusionment moment. And then, of course, the story would be, and maybe in the process, Steve Trevor dies because you get there to save him, but there's nothing there to save him. It's a wasteland, a long forgotten graveyard. And, it feels like kind of we've seen some of this plot before in other things, but it would be, then you get the disillusioned Wonder Woman. She's been this inspiration for the world, but now she knows that the foundation she built all this up on is a lie. And so she, struggles like, who am I? Do I have any right to say these things when my entire, everything I am turned out not to be true. And then she, discovers, no, actually, I am the beacon of hope, and I can do this. You have this climactic villain. She picks up that sword and shield, and she fights for,
truth, justice, and love, and all the kind of things with Wonder Woman. And as a result, emerges like, you know, she is her own hero. The myth was a myth, but she made it into her reality, and as a result, is a major hero. I mean, you know, given the time to play that story out, it would be a pretty powerful story. And I've done videos before of like, how do you get Wonder Woman to be a major character, rather than just saying she's a major character, because reality, and people hate to hear it. This is one of those comments that everybody takes a piss out of me on Reddit for. But Batman and Superman, Batman's at the top level of sales. Superman is, lower than that, and Wonder Woman is much lower than that. And yet DC wants to kind of present these three as like, these three heroes are all equal. It's our trinity, our formation of our company. But Wonder Woman has been outsold regularly by Flash, by Green Lantern, by other books, by the Justice League. And it's just, she's not, from a sales perspective, she's often a B character, even though she shouldn't be. And so how does DC elevate her to, make her the A-list character she is? To do that, and I think you're seeing a little bit of that with Absolute Wonder Woman. I don't enjoy the title. I don't like Kelly Thompson's writing. It's not for me. Not saying it's bad for everyone. It's not for me. I know I saw the style I don't like. But credit where credit's due. I think Kelly Thompson is telling a story where Wonder Woman actually, she lost me with the arm stump thing, but she'd already lost me before that. But she's trying to actually do something new to make her a hero and a major hero. And that's what you need to do. I think too often, the writers of DC will just want to tell you, oh, Wonder Woman is a major hero, but they don't show it. They don't actually, deliver that message through action. And so this story, if you had this inspirational character, and then you have this huge, shocking revelation that all is not as it seems, and then she has to overcome that past and be that hero. That's a hero's journey right there. It would work. And I think it'd be an entertaining story. The problem is, it's just, you couldn't do it in the mainline DC universe because, we already know these things exist, and that's not what happened. So, but, I think it's a good idea. Anyway, what are your crazy comic ideas or good comic ideas? Not labeling it. No labeling. It reminds me, I don't know, I did a video and somebody, I don't know, I don't remember what I said because it must have been filmed like a long time ago, but people got on me for kink shaming. And I don't know what dumb joke I told. Could have been any number of things. But I was thinking about this, and I'm like, actually, yeah, I am going to kink shame people. It's you could feel ashamed or not. It's up to you. But I'm not going to try and pretend that some of this stuff, some of these kinks are not ludicrous, because they goddamn are. But that's my opinion. Your mileage may vary. I think that's one of the things we all have to get back to as a society and a culture, is that, I can say things, you can wildly disagree. That's okay, because you don't have to agree with me. I don't have to agree with you. It doesn't mean the world ends. There's not one single source of truth when it comes to an opinion. But what are your comic stories? Let me know in the comments below. Send me an email. Why not? And thanks for listening.